Thank you, Jerry. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2025 You Reach on the Beach User Conference. First and foremost, I want to thank you for being here. We know that everybody has full calendars and a lot of different events that take up your time. And your commitment to be here in person with us is very valuable. And we're super excited for us to be able to, over the next few days, to be able to connect, collaborate, and conquer together. We came up with this mantra last year, and really the idea is that we're going to be better together. So our teams and your teams working together to provide software that we can improve the products for the future, and also to overcome the obstacles that you have today. So the next 2 days we're going to work on those items together. I also want to take a moment to give a heartfelt thank you to our internal team. It takes a lot to put together an event like this, and it requires a lot of planning, coordination, and passion to do this along with their regular day jobs. And their hard work has made it possible for us to be able to be here today, and I'm really happy for that. So thank you, the PrintReach team, for that. It was 10 years ago next month that I put on our first user group conference. So I just wanted to highlight what type of effort it took to put on the first event.
This is Nate and Chris with Virtual Systems, and we're here at Jacksonville Beach getting ready for the user group meeting. There's a lot that goes into preparing for a user group conference. We wanted you to see firsthand what kind of preparations are going on. Hey, this is Nate from Virtual Systems, working on my tan for the user group conference in May. Look forward to seeing you there. I'm getting pumped up for the user conference. Find new ways to keep your system in shape with the educational session. After a good long workout, it's so warm in Jacksonville, I like to get a smoothie from Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Find new ways to get your system into shape.
I still can't believe Chris talked me into doing that. All right. And to our vendor partners and sponsors, your support and participation at the events makes it really worthwhile. And it's really important for us to be able to work together to strengthen, our relationships with our users and make this event possible. So thank you to our sponsors, Plan Profit, Direct Mail 2.0, and Loyalty Loop. Our last event was a little over a year ago, and since that event, there's been a number of changes that have went on within PrintReach itself. So I wanted to kind of walk through some numbers with you for the changes that we've had. The number 8 signifies the number of new employees that we brought on, primarily in our development team over the last year. And if you look at the makeup of who PrintReach is today, it's made up of 31 people on our development and QA team. Last June, we hired a QA manager really to help us make sure that as we're releasing new features, we could avoid the pain that gets caused through regressions. And we know that is very painful. When we've been able to track and show major improvement over the last year with that new QA team as part of our release cycle. We have 15 employees on our support and implementation team, and our sales and marketing team consists of 7. Gives us a total of 53 employees. So, for us, it's been a huge growth. When I started with the company 12 years ago, there was 12 of us, and to see it at 53 today is really exciting. I put up this slide last year and went through it, and what's neat about it is every one of these lines change. We have more new customers on board. We're adding more new customers every year. We're still within the top 5 of print MISs in the US, and we've had over 400,000 payment transactions go through our software in the last year. As many of you know, we were acquired by Full Steam back in 2020. And so I wanted to give you a little background on who Full Steam is. Full Steam is a private equity-backed software company that purchases vertical market software. And what I mean by that vertical market is in example is that is we have one vertical, it's called the print vertical. PrintReach is one of those companies that consists in that. And there's two other companies, ShopWorks and PickBusiness. Over the last 8 years, Full Steam has acquired over 90 different companies, primarily with the effort to put in the payment processing into each of the software companies that they provide. But in addition to that, we've also added a number of different integrated offerings. There's marketing services offerings in some of the platforms, insurance services, and merchant capital advance. And we're also looking to add different features and financial products to the products as well. An example of that would be payroll services that would be integrated within the software in the future. What Full Steam has provided us is a huge team of development resources, marketing resources for us to continue to grow and be backed by a well-funded company that allows us to continue to reinvest in the product. They want us to continue to reinvest, to continue to grow, to meet the demands of our customers, and we're excited to be able to offer those development features. Another number and stat for you, 4,362 was the number of development and QA implementation support tasks completed in little over last year. And as we look ahead, our commitment remains strong and focused. Your businesses are evolving, and so must we. That's why we've continued to invest heavily in our development efforts with the focus of things that matter most to you, like rock-solid reliability, improving functionality, and most importantly, making our platform more intelligent and forward-looking through the use of AI and other tools. Since our last event, we've made significant strides. We've overhauled our engineering platform. In July and August of last year, we overhauled our engineering platform to be able to provide code faster and deliver code better within the products. We've more than doubled our onshore development team and increased our offshore team by over 30%. We've implemented penetration testing and added weekly security scans to harden our environment. And we've also added thousands of lines of new code to the product. In addition to that, we completed the 500 hours for both Midnight and Printers Plan that was agreed upon by the users that attended our event last year. You might be asking, why am I giving you all those stats? And the reason I'm highlighting those is because these are the bedrock of the foundation that we're going to deliver on in 2025. Over the next 2 days, you're going to hear about the roadmap items that we're going to deliver on. Many of them consist of new features, and all the work that we've done over the last year has laid the foundation for us to be able to deliver on those. A couple of highlights of what we're going to talk about over the next couple of days is PrintReach Drive. PrintReach Drive is a way to be able to store files inside the software, easily manage those files, in different ways that we can leverage AI across the platform. And Aaron will spend time in the next hour really trying to give you more details on those. In addition to these two items, we're also improving the way we're handling identity and login features within the system, new business automation tools, improved proofing tools, an increased platform performance for both Printers Plan and Midnight, upgraded inventory tools, upgraded invoicing solutions. In addition to that, we're also upgrading our pro services team to deliver on custom work that you guys may be looking to add to the software in the future. Lastly, as Jerry mentioned, we're going to deliver on the 2025 user-defined 500 hours for both Midnight and Printers Plan. So this is just a short list of all the things that we're going to do in 2025, and I'm excited to be able to talk about those with you over the next 2 days. We're not just building software, we want to build partnerships with you. As being part of this industry for the last 12 years, I know there's a lot of change that's going on And what we want to be able to come together to highlight is our investment into the products to give you the confidence that we're a good partner for the future. And as we work together over the next 2 days, I've heard comments that, there's a lot of things that we need to get on the table. This is the best time to do it. We want to be able to give you the confidence that you have the right team and the right partner to be able to grow your business in the future. I look forward to spending time with each and every one of you over the next 2 days, and excited to hear what's important to you in your business, and excited to be able to talk about how we can be the best partner for you for the future. With that, I just want to say thank you again for being here. I'm excited that we're able to put on an event like this, and I know that it takes a lot of time and energy from your part to be here, so I really appreciate it and excited to be able to spend time together. Thank you. To kick off a vendor presentation now, a good friend of mine, Lemay Sanchez, is going to talk to you about a product that he's built over the last 5-6 years. And Plan Profit is currently a product that is connected to our Printers Plan software, but we're also wanting you to talk to him about the idea, if you're a Midnight customer, to see if any of the features that they have within the Plan Profit would be a good solution for us to look at partnering with Midnight as well. So without further ado, Lemay.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lemay Sanchez. I'm, again, co-founder and CEO of Plan Profit. My partner, Renee, is back there, and Keegan, sales consultant, is all the way back there, too. So if you see somebody with a shirt like that, we're part of the Plan Profit team. Again, we've been integrated with Printers Plan for about 5 years. Printers Plan is very close to my heart because I was first a Printers Plan user about 20 years ago, so I've known Paul for a while. I had hair back then. And then I transitioned into the software side 5 years ago of the equation. We integrate with many different estimating systems in the world of print. All we do is print. Midnight, again, is one exception today. We're hoping to change that soon. So what is Plan Profit for those of you who are not Plan Profit users? I'm going to try to scoot to a side here. Essentially, we are a Salesforce-based CRM, and I'll go into details in the next slide into what exactly the benefits of that. But we leverage all the data that resides in your estimating system real time. And when I say all your data, I really mean it. We go down to the item level. It's not just contacts and accounts. We go down to an item level. 100% of the historical data in your estimating system is leveraged real time. And we're pretty much the bridge that connects all the data within your customer base with your customers. So anything that involves a true CRM, marketing automation, customer service, sales, billing, proofing, etc. All those are items that we call the front of the house stack. Most MISs that we deal with, most software that you're currently using today, revolve around the back of the house. These are your, where you go to create your pricing, where you go to in-position your files and all those items. Plan Profit really focuses on the front side of the business. Our goal is to either completely automate that part of the business or to bring your team tools to make that task a little easier. So we're going to break down just a couple of the main highlights of our product. The first thing, obviously, is a CRM. It's like a bad word, right? Who is excited about using a CRM? Said never, ever, anyone. So the reason why that's the case is because of the limited number of integrations that you're leveraging from your existing apps today, where it takes sometimes more time importing data and keeping your CRM up to date than you're actually going to be spending time with it. So by grabbing all the data historical that exists in your estimating system and putting it real time in a Salesforce-based CRM, it really untaps a huge potential for your team, not just for sales management, but for actual existing customer management too. We're leveraging Salesforce. It's a custom version of Salesforce that we wrote up almost from the ground up. So this is the same enterprise level CRM that every single world-leading company in the world, including PrintReach, right, is leveraging for data. So you guys are not going to be at a disadvantage software-wise. It's up to you what you do with it at that point. The second part is the analytics side of Plan Profit. We leverage Salesforce's own analytics engine. It's called Einstein Analytics. It just makes it so easy and interactive to create reports. Just makes it a lot more fun, right? Anybody in your company can grab a report at any time, make it their own, make it visual, add graphs, just make it interactive for the purpose of sales, for the purpose of understanding customer behaviors, even billing and collection behaviors. We have a very cool internal collaboration tool, allows your team to essentially collaborate with each other without having to write up notes in work orders or text message each other or email each other, all those things that can get lost. So within every job, quote, customer, prospect within Plan Profit, there's this little screen that says chatter. You could talk to people internally, share files with each other. Makes collaboration a lot more simple. We have a proofs management system. We launched it 5 years ago. In 5 years, it hasn't really seen a very major update. But what it is a simple proof for you to be able to manage 75% of your jobs. It's meant to be simple on purpose. It auto follows up for those clients that have never responded based on timed intervals of your choice. We also have a customer portal. Don't confuse this with an online management system. It's essentially a way to give a small window of your MIS to your customers for them to either pay bills, approve quotes, see orders, see history, go back in time and request reorders. We don't require username or password, so it's very simple to get there through a link that we send them every time they get approved or every time they get an invoice. With that special link, we take them to this portal that they can interact with you. Our portal is fully integrated into, obviously, Printer's Plan and PrintReach Pay. So all the payments that happen here are also automatically applied back into your estimating system. So again, probably our crown jewel engine, what we're most known for is in our ability to grab all the stuff real time as they're happening into your estimating system and drive automated flows, acting like we're a member of your team. So all of our automated flows can be sent without an unsubscribe at the bottom because they're not all marketing emails. They can be trained to be sent on behalf of the CSR or salesperson or somebody that's responsible for that behavior. Examples of those are customer journeys. When somebody buys something for the first time ever, you could define the next 20 emails that that person's going to get depending on the industry that they're in or depending on the type of that they grow within the next 30 to 60 days to be in. So customer journeys is, think of it as a set it and live it kind of marketing that's just happening. Inactive check-ins, we're constantly checking your database for people that have an order in 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year. This is a daily process. So every day we may email one person to 10 people a day trying to get them to respond. They're casual check-ins that they're not supposed to look like they're marketing emails. Of course, quote follow-ups, billing automations, cross-sell, upsell campaigns. We see what somebody bought and we can upsell a product that same day. If somebody bought a retractable banner because you train our system to say, if any part of the object of what the client ordered has the word retractable on it or anything indicative of a trade show, then send them a promotional products catalog an hour later. So there's a lot of that part of the automatic marketing that, again, when you're driving automatic marketing from your MIS, there's a lot of untapped potential, things that you could do, just creative things. Obviously, one-on-one drips. If somebody called you and said, did you guys do vehicle wraps? Yes, we do. Set the drip that you already have pre-configured in your Plan Profit, and you can start sending 3 or 4 emails to that person promoting that specific product or service to. And then obviously there's endless marketing behaviors. We have a mobile app, puts your MIS at the palm of your hands. You could send invoices, open report, do everything that I just showed you directly from the palm of your hands. We also have a large community of users, all involved about using our product to just grow fast without necessarily needing to hire more. We have our user conference actually in about a month, and PrintReach is also going to be a sponsor. It's kind of like watch, I spend money with you, spend money with me. That's kind of like how it works. So we are also working on a major release, and my CTO back there has been working for the last year on our Plan Profit AI module. This is what's coming next month, right? And I'm going to give you a brief overview on exactly what our AI is going to do. Remember one thing. Our focus is on the front of the house. Our focus is on things that we can do to help you automate customer service or sales environments. That's all we focus on. So the first thing is predictive modeling. Predictive modeling means that we're going to be able to understand everything that the client does, going back to the beginning of your history with them. And we'll be able to predict with a high degree of certainty the next time that they're going to order and the next time that they're going to order and what exactly they're going to order next. Thank you, Curtis. It was one of his wishes. So we'll be able to say that Curtis is going to order in the next 3 weeks this specific product or service. We can also automatically reach out to Curtis on your behalf. So predictive modeling also involved to looking at the clients, depending on the industry that they're in. We can see, for example, if the client is in the automobile dealership, we can understand his ordering patterns going back 3 years, and then we know that automobiles have hot seasons and hot dates that like promoting stuff, so we'll remind you of things that may come up with a client as soon as the season kicks off beforehand, so that you remember what things you need to sell to the client, not just based on what they've ordered, but based on what typical industry needs in each specific time, right? So we have AI Compose. AI Compose is, somebody here use ChatGPT to say, write me an email that does A, B, or C? So think of having ChatGPT built into your Plan Profit, where it's leveraging all the data about this client. We know everything about the client, what they order, how much money they owe you. Do they order this product or that product, right? How responsive are they to the marketing emails that your team is sending? And you could just now land on one person and say, tell this client that I want to sell them something that I have never sold them before. Blank statement. We know everything there is to know about this client, and we'll draft an email that's either short, big, however you guys want it, that specifically knows what the client should buy based on their industry, based on what they've never bought, and it'll prompt an upsell email immediately. So it's not just for sales purposes. It could be collect money from this client and ask why they're so late. So all the things, you present the prompt, and we understand the history for this client, so we'll be that much smarter when we're putting these emails into the fingertips of clients. Prompt-based actions, I think, is a game changer. Is having a prompt inside of Plan Profit, which, again, we're launching in next month. You'll be able to drive actions with prompts. Send an email to Sally telling her that these 3 invoices are late and ask her why they're late. Create a prospect, John Doe, with ABC flowers, and prepare it ready for an estimate in Printer's Plan. Any invoices that are late, for any one client that I have that owes me more than $10,000, send them an invoice again because I need money for payroll tomorrow. Use prompt, and we drive results based on the prompt you just fed us. And it's limitless, really, what you could do. The idea is that you have to do less clicking, because the most powerful thing of AI is the fact that it can understand human language. And if we can convert that human language into actionable functions based out of Plan Profit or your MIS, I think it'll just make everyone a lot more efficient. Then the final one, and the one that we consider to be the holy grail on the world of AI, we're launching 50% of this feature next month. The other 50%, our CTO dropped the ball and it's not happening. It's the virtual CSR. So there's 2 components to virtual CSR. One is text-based, chatbot-based, web-based, interactions with a robot that feels human. The other one is conversations with a robot that feels humans. The conversation part, we're going to owe it to you. It's probably going to be more like Q4. But the text one is working phenomenally well. You'll be able to publish a phone number that people can text. You'll be able to put it on your website. You'll be able to put it on the signature of your emails. All your clients can text you, interact with you. You could call it whatever you want, and it'll be able to accept estimates, accept payments, provide status of an order, upsell a product based on what they have, provide shipping information about a product, using obscenely human language interactions, because we're leveraging 2 models, Gemini and OpenAI, in these interactions simultaneously, depending on the object that it is. So again, the whole idea is not to have you replace staff. The idea is to make sure that you continue growing at a very fast pace without needing to hire more people, not just because of the money side, but because it takes time training your staff. And these tools are intended at grabbing it so that your staff can also be that much more efficient with their time. So the last thing is, if you are a Midnight client, and if it sounds like what I said may make sense for you, we need 20 Midnight clients for us to be able to commission for this to make sense for Plan Profit and for Midnight, because it's a lot of work. Our integrations take months and a lot of development hours. So if you're a Midnight client and you think this makes sense, scan the QR code, send us a message, and then we'll talk to you sometime next week about it. Thank you for the opportunity, guys. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. Today, I am actually here to give you your token AI conference, talk. You got to have one. So yeah, I'm going to be discussing, it's been in the headlines a lot in various industries. You might see it day to day. You might be using some of it in your own business. But there's just been a lot of questions and a lot of excitement about where does AI fit in our industry. A little bit about myself My name is Brandon. I'm a product manager at PrintReach, and my background's been a bit of a journey. I started in support, went to implementation as well, went to support management, and through all of that, now I found myself here, and throughout all of that, I somehow picked up a bunch of AI knowledge along the way. So, quick show of hands, how many people have used AI today? There we go. How many people have used it this week in general, right? Like we have a lot. How many people use it in their business specifically? Okay, so about maybe half that. So this is true of any industry. It's not special here, but we face growing pressure to adapt to AI technologies with promises of transformation, but reality does require a measured approach, right? What does it look like and what is it doing in our business? How do we separate the hype from the help? All kinds of AI vendors, even the ones that we use in our day-to-day operations, always promise revolutionary improvements across all operations. Trying to figure out what is and isn't sometimes a skill set. Realistically, most applications, they require a very specific set of conditions to deliver value. So some examples of that, that'd be like having specific sets of data. So if you're not tracking something today, if you're not tracking scheduling, if you're not tracking time, if you just simply have no data, then there's nothing to teach an AI. So process is before we get to AI applications. They're not magic solutions, but there are real opportunities with that foundation of data. And really what you should do is less think about what can AI do for me and more about what problems do we have, and then focus on what AI could deliver that could actually help those specific results, not some novelty, an actual problem that you've identified. So today I wanted to help you understand what that means, what's going to deliver you actual returns, and how are you going to get through the hype that is AI. Any questions before we move on? Anyone about AI in general, or any clarification questions? No? Okay. So not all applications deliver equal value or even require the same amount of effort, right? These two first ones, high value, low complexity, this is not exhaustive, right? I could have 100 slides of the things that could solve, but high value, low complexity, that's going to be the things that you already have data for, the things that you already have defined processes for. Right, you already have a host of customer data, so predicting their outcomes is more logical. You already have a host of emails and business standards, so that is more logical. Then we get into high value, high complexity. So these are things that you might have the data for, or that just might be really high impact. There are systems out there for press maintenance. They monitor the sensors on your press, they monitor the vibrations of the pieces, and can predict when they need maintenance. But if you don't have sensors, if you're not collecting that data, right, that's another challenge. So it's also about identifying in which area you're going to focus in. Then we have low value, low complexity. You know, chatbots, image upscaling, are those things really going to push your return, or are they just nice things to have? Are customers going to have a fantastic time with chatbots, or are they going to have a bad time with chatbots? So those things might have lower value than some of the much more clear places to chase. And then you have the last thing, right? There's low value, high complexity. Automated design systems. Is the customer really going to use that? Are you really going to take your designer's expertise away from the system? And then, you know, voice-controlled workflows, things like that. That's probably not where we want to be, right? We first target those the right problems that you're trying to solve. Does anyone use anything in these top two categories today that they have a system for, that they'd like to share? Anyone have a specific vendor that they partner with or anything like that? Or is it mostly everyone in here? If you're just kind of familiar with ChatGPT, go ahead and show me your hands. Stuff like that, okay. And nobody uses like an AI tool or AI software today, is that accurate? Anyone in here? Okay. So these are the types of things, if vendors approach you about, hey, we have AI solutions, these are the types of things where you're trying to understand, okay, what is this person telling me? What are they selling me? And what are they offering? It isn't about chasing the AI, it's just about solving real problems. And AI can just help find those patterns and predictions. So with an MIS, right, that is the foundation. You have your data in there where you're creating patterns. Effective AI depends on data and processes. Now, when it comes to implementing them, right, there's multiple pieces to this, right? First, you have to find the right place for AI to exist in your company, but then there's also integrating it into your current systems. There's the training of not only the AI itself, but your staff. How do they use it? How does it evolve? What are the costs? How does it scale, right? Those are big implementation questions when it comes to AI. So yeah, I would always highlight that if you don't already have well-defined data-rich processes, you're going to need to create those first. And if you have a history of those, you have a leg up on everyone. That's going to help you when it comes to kind of migrating into this world of AI. So mostly what I wanted to do here is just take some questions from the room. AI can be very specialized, right? You might have a specific process in your industry that you're or in your business logic, right, that you're wondering if AI can be used there. And so I just wanted to take a moment to have people highlight that and then talk through and identify those, right? Let's put this to practice, right? If you have a problem in your business, let's talk about how that could happen. So who here kind of thinks that AI is the dream for something that they want to apply it to? You have a specific problem in mind? I have some written down if nobody has any specific ideas. So let's specifically target the high value, low complexity zone, right? That's where you're not going to need a specific partner in that potentially. So that's identifying those pain points. Is it in your production? Is it in your estimating? Is it in your customer service? So here's some examples. Let's say you wanted to have some job estimation, right? You wanted to help CSRs, or you wanted to redefine what your estimating process looked like. So to be able to do that, right, you're going to need a large data set of all your previous quotes. It's going to have to be structured in a similar manner, or at least converted into that structure. Thankfully, in these MISs that you guys are familiar with and using, we already have a lot of that structure. So that's where we come in. That's where PrintReach is coming in. So we're targeting various AI features and functionality. We're doing research and development on them right now in areas of like content generation. So that's writing an email, helping somebody write an email, for example. Proof assistance, right? So some of those, let's go all the way back here. So some of these kind of high value, low complexity items are where PrintReach is going to start helping you. We already have a lot of your data. We already have a lot of your processes understood. And so we can help with some of those high value, low complexity items. But when it comes to more high value, high complexity, right, if it's specific to you, it's specific to you. And so that is a little bit more challenging. That's where training the model becomes important. So that's another research area that we're looking into, right? We couldn't have a model that understood everyone's business, all of your customer data and pricing, right? That is, there's data concerns there, right? So we have to separate that. We can't trade a model on generic data either, because then it wouldn't be helpful. It'd be generic. So that's where we come in, is kind of these two high value, low complexity items. The next thing I'd like to do, when we're doing this research, we're building prototypes and we're trying to find out what is and isn't valuable to you guys. So I would love to take that to my team after this and say, hey, here's the areas in which customers are seeking an understanding of how this helps them. So if, instead of questions, if you have specific comments about, hey, this is an area where we're often wondering how this would help us. Outside of the obvious, right? Email generation is one of the most known. Go ahead.
Will we be able to utilize our own add-ons, our own scripts to go in and massage the data, add any records?
So SQL printers plan, right? So that that wouldn't necessarily directly affect, right, how you might leverage AI. The nice thing though is that with a SQL database, it's going to be easier to integrate AI systems with a SQL database than it might be with an Access database in terms of speed and consistency. So that's what that's going to leverage, I think, is just a newer technology for your data to live in, which is more searchable for an AI system.
Oh, okay.
So for the ones that are cloud-based, how do we make sure that the information that we have that's proprietary to us doesn't get mixed in with someone else's?
So there's a handful of options you could do there. The first one, the one that's probably the biggest investment, is on-site hosting. So there are companies out there which you can specifically train a model and it's stored on your servers. Banks do this, hospitals do this, places where they cannot ever have that data be exposed, and so it is on their machine. For less critical paths, for example, what we're doing is the models itself are segregated based on data, and it is impossible for a model to retrieve data from someone else. So just like we have right, a database of all of your, when you go to Midnight or when you go to Printers Plan, that's all separate. It's very similar with an AI. It needs the right permissions, it needs the right authentication to be able to access any of that data.
So your AI platform that you would come out with, like, to your users, it would almost be tailored to the individual customer set. So the AI that I would interface with, I would get different results from a generic standpoint than...
Right, it would have
it would,
context on your jobs, your customers, your processes, your standards, right? So when it writes an email, or if it searches up a job, or if it does an estimate, it's going to have some logic based on the context of your data, for sure.
Database cleanup. I bought a franchise that's been using this for 32 years, and some clients have been there that long, and I've got 50 emails that are in there, or I've got multiple records of different clients. Is there a tool you guys can use on the back end to go through and say, we haven't emailed this email address in 3 years, maybe we should hide it? Or if it proactively said to us, there are 7 companies with the variation of 7 customers with the variation of this name in your
like
database, is
a
there
data librarian who identifies problems. This is a duplicate job, this is a duplicate file. It's interesting, we're doing a little bit that with Drive right now, identifying like a duplicate file or something like that. So that is something that I'll definitely look into is, okay, can we just do that across all data structures, right? Your CRM, your emails, and so on and so forth. But that's a great shout out. So.
So how do you see, like customer service, for example, getting customer service reps and training them and keeping them, and, it's always continues to be a challenge, and, whenever it comes to people, how do you look at the ability for AI to be able to take some of the easy jobs, for example, a simple trifold brochure, and be able to analyze first and foremost our database, then analyze everybody else's database and say, just write this up. And a human will check it, but then just get it into the works. Do you see anything like that coming down the pipe?
So I think the thing you're saying there is like onboarding, right? You get a new employee, you want to onboard them into your process. Is that accurate?
I want to enter a job. So I enter a, I
Oh,
want
like
to have,
like an estimate. Okay.
yeah,
Almost
create an
like a-
estimate or create a work order for a business card or for a brochure, and then we can get it into production.
Yeah, the thing with that is depending on how complex the task is, how many pieces it has, that's where AI has the potential to break down, right? The more steps something is, even if it has all of the data and all of the context, if it's a complex idea, then you might get different results. So that's also something that we're very important about, or is very important to us, is not only launching these systems, but having metrics that show us that they work. It's very possible to use an AI system, which is effectively a calculator in the dark. It is always going to tell you something. It has to do that. So if it's more complex, or if it doesn't have the right data or the context, then it could fail, right? And so that's where it becomes targeting the right areas. Yeah, so with user training documentation, we've been doing some experiments with taking the documentation that exists today and putting behind a chatbot to it so that you can talk to the host of knowledge that exists in, say, Printer's Plan or Midnight, or maybe your own business documents, right? Like you probably have your own POCs or your standard processes. So one of the things that we're really excited for Drive is specifically, the idea would be that you can chat with a subset of data, a subset of documents. So maybe you have a collection of data that you identify as your onboarding documentation, or your Midnight training documentation, so on and so forth. And you could launch a specific chat instance with all of that context managed through Drive. So that is an area that we're really excited to research.
How do you see this integrating into the reporting features that's already in Midnight? Because right now, one of the things that we have an issue with the reporting features is getting access to certain levels of data.
Yep.
So if you have the AI component in the background running, it could potentially give us the access to certain things that we right now don't. Are you all looking to roadmap that in somewhere where we can have a better report building feature that somehow uses the AI to give us that level?
That has been a very common, I've asked a handful of people here, right, like what would be your dream thing? And it's just that ability to go to something and say, hey, I need a report that does this, it collects this data, and it gives me this. And then it may fire a few questions, clarifying questions, right? That is something that we're keen on, but it is an entirely new direction for us, right? It probably wouldn't use the same engines of building those. The other thing is, if you just need the data, it's probably easier. If you need it to be formatted as a PDF in a specific way and this, it's harder. So it really depends on what you're after. If you're just after raw data, I think that becomes easier than templatized PDFs and reports and stuff.
Trouble in their programs, but they're integrating AI.
I see. I think when we get further and further into it, there would be a concern, especially with scale, right? As more people use it, more people use it. The thing that would be nice, though, is that theoretically we could be in charge of that by either hosting our own server infrastructure, so that if there were problems, we could address them without relying on a third party. But it really depends on the scale and adoption of these things, and especially, you know, my answer to you 4 months ago would have been different, and my answer to you 4 months from now would probably be, you know, I can't even predict it. It's moving that fast. So that's why it's important for us to do all of this research, is answering questions exactly like that. Can we do this at scale with all of our customers interacting with those AIs? So I think we can. It's just making that happen.
I'd like to see a AI tool integrated more like in the production side of it, to where I could plug in, say, like, if I have jobs due on Friday, all right, that are going through the production process right now, you could extract the data out of Printer's Plan based on what jobs are going on what stock. Use that AI feature to say, okay, let's gang all these up on a piece of stock. This goes to the cutter. All these jobs will then go from the cutter to, say, the booklet maker. These jobs here that are grouped on this could then go to the laminator, or, you know, the other, like a Duplo slitter
Yep.
cutter creaser, where we extract that data ahead of time, tell us as managers, okay, group these jobs together so that I'm feeding this department and I'm feeding this department. Printer's Plan should have all that data at the front end that I punch in to be able to extract it out of it.
Right.
You know, my mind thinks that should be a feature that could easily be integrated.
Right, so this is like scheduling and the high level of your print flow of like, okay, you could take these jobs and you could gang them because it understands like the equipment that you have and the paper that you have. That's what you're saying, right?
Right.
Okay. I do see that as being possible as well. That one, like, the more subjective it becomes, could you gang them? Yes. Does it actually take more work to do that, even though it might be saving you material cost? Those are the contexts that AI might not have, and so human review would be important there to understand its suggestions. But I don't see any problems with that, right? It's just data comparison. You know, how many jobs are there? What's their paper? So on and so forth.
Yeah, what's the size, whether
right.
it's stock or out of stock, choosing what the max sheet size is, and then once it's there, you know, then I can see it extracting the data out to say, okay, this has to go through a cutting process, then to this department, or cutting process, then to that department, where it's all in Printer's Plan at that point, because you plugged in the information.
So I guess, are you saying it's identifying problems based on the schedule, or it's
No,
scheduling?
I'm saying it identifies the job path.
Okay.
So when I plug it in, say it's a business card, and say it's an invitation, say it runs on 80-pound uncoated cover stock. Well, you could say, okay, I could plug in the date when this is due, and then the AI feature could say, okay, gang this together on the sheet, because this job has to run off like the digital machine.
Okay.
Then it's got to go through the cutter, and each of those probably has to go through like the
Gotcha. So
cutter.
this would be like an AI enhanced
And
auto
then-
scheduler.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
it feeds itself out the back door. Whereas another job, you know, could be two small booklets. Rather than running that booklet, that one job by itself, if there's two jobs that are booklets, again, it goes through that process. That way I'm feeding the cutting department, and then those two jobs at the same time are going to the booklet maker.
Mhm.
Where it's telling me, hey, try to push this job to get okayed sooner, or try to gang these together so that we're, you know, constantly feeding those departments.
Yeah. So actually, this brings me to a good follow-up question for everyone here. Another show of hands is when we start targeting these research projects and build prototypes and then start actually pushing out features. There's multiple areas that we could target first. So I'm going to kind of go through those. I'm not going to hold them hostage. They're like customer experience, production, business insights, right? Business analytics. There's more on that list, but those are the three that pop into my head. So by a show of hands, just so I can get the temperature of the room, if we focused on specifically customer experience versus those other two, who would be most excited? Customer experience, okay. Now production, right? This is production issues, identifying those, helping those, auto-scheduling, production, okay. And then let's say business insight, right? This is analyzing your customers for trends, analyzing your sales data for trends, and questioning that sales data and being able to ask. Okay, so mostly production. Great, I'm glad I asked that question. Cool. Okay, anyone else? Has anyone had an awkward experience with an AI product that failed that they might want to talk about? Anything like that? If not, that's most of what I wanted to go through, is just kind of get the temperature of everyone and where are we in AI today, and if PrintReach, right, is to help solve some of those problems, where should we put our efforts? It sounds like a lot of business insights, customer experience, and production help would be significant. So.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Morgan DeGiorgio. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for DirectMail 2.0 and Who's Mailing What. And collectively, our sole purpose is to make direct mail the most effective form of marketing by integrating it with cutting-edge technology. In a nutshell, DirectMail 2.0 in itself is a white label marketing based solution that's designed to make direct mail better. And it's designed to do a couple of different things. One, we want to seamlessly track the mail by integrating it with cutting edge technology, but not just to show the deliverability of, we want to show that the direct mail is actually working and show tracking and attribution. The second element of DirectMail 2.0 is the layering on of an omni-channel marketing platform so that we can leverage and take advantage of the power of repetition and drive a 23 to 46% lift in response on a direct mail campaign over just traditional standalone direct mail. So what does that look like really omni-channel? If you take a look at the Omni graphic here, you see the direct mail in the mailbox, and then we repeat that message across multiple channels, driving the desired repetition so we can get a lift. We have up to 15 different technologies that we can leverage and layer on top of the direct mail campaigns. And I'll tell you a little secret. Why our platform is as powerful and effective as it is because we harness and leverage the power of direct mail. Direct mail is a very powerful channel. It's about projected to be about a $69 billion industry in 2025. Over 91% of promo mail is read and opened. How many people in here in the morning when you have about 200 spam emails, you read all those, you see every message? Yeah, me neither. I delete them. I never get the marketing message that was in that email. But when I go out to my mailbox and I get direct mail, even if I make a decision or before I do to discard it or toss it in the trash, I look at it. And the marketing message it was received. And because direct mail takes 21% less cognitive effort to process, the message impinges, it activates the long-term memory centers in my brain. And if I were to see that message again later, I would have that brand recall, right? So very powerful channel, but it does have its challenges. Now from a marketing perspective, unfortunately in this industry, marketers are paying more and more for direct mail. We've got postage costs, we've got supply chain issues, now we can welcome on the tariffs, and the cost of everything is going up. And marketers are paying more for the exact same product and getting maybe the same results, but sometimes a degradation in results. And that's not what they want. And if they are getting a higher cost of goods, then what they want is direct mail marketing channel better. How can they improve it? How can they see the ROI? Because I'm more cost conscious as a customer, so I really need you to show me that this is working so that I'm willing to continue to invest in this channel. Now, from a provider's perspective, a mail provider, well, I want to tap into a bigger portion of that $65 billion industry. I want a greater piece of that pie. And I don't want to put myself in a cost-based environment where I'm pining for every last piece of DM I can based on who can do it for cheaper, because that is a really poor place to be. And the only way that you can get out of that is by providing a value-added service. When a customer sees the value in something, they will not care how much it costs. So when you can leverage a value-based service and position yourself as doing something different, you're setting yourself in a place where you can prevent that attrition and not lose customers, and also tap in and acquire new direct mail business. You have to stand out. Now, if I'm a marketer, I need a marketing solution that is going to put my marketing message front and center with brands and stand out, because there's about 4,000 to 10,000 marketing messages being seen on a daily basis. I'm talking about DM, email, digital ads, logos, billboards, vehicle wraps. They're inundated with marketing messages, and they need a very effective marketing strategy that's going to impinge in the prospect's mind, carry them through that journey all the way until they convert, they get that revenue, and they see ROI on their marketing spend. A lot of reasons why integrating digital with direct mail is really powerful is because of the way that people respond to marketing. So if I see a marketing message, including direct mail, I go online. And from there, it's very effective to be able to leverage digital channels to very inexpensively re-engage a DM recipient to get them back to the website, to get them to convert, so that as a mail provider, you look like the hero and you got conversions on their direct mail campaigns. We are really just employing something very simple that works in marketing. And it doesn't matter what channel you're leveraging, but we need to employ the power of repetition. We wouldn't see a billboard go up and come down in the same day. We wouldn't just send one email, display one digital ad. So I have to challenge to ask our customers, why are you asking me to do a one and done with mail? Yes, I know that you're perceiving it as a significant investment, but if I can equip you with a marketing-based solution where I can get you the repetition you need inexpensively, now I can get you ROI on your marketing investments. So according to NAPCO research, marketers that are utilizing 4 to 6 channels are getting the best results. If they're only using one or they're just using DM, they're missing the boat. Not to mention the fact that prospects are leveraging anywhere from 8 channels in a prospect journey. They like to prefer to start the buying journey in some, do research in others, and then convert in others. So if they're only leveraging one channel, they're really leaving a lot of money on the table. Now the good news as a mail provider is that customers are very savvy about omnichannel. They know it works, and they would actually use more print if they could find unique programs that would integrate digital into their direct mail campaigns. But the challenge that they have, I don't know if anybody saw the Lob State of Direct Mail report, a lot of really good data in there, is that they find it really difficult to actually deploy. We run these campaigns for some of the largest brands in the country. Brands that have very massive internal digital marketing teams, and you would say, well, why couldn't they leverage omnichannel on top of their direct mail campaigns? Well, because they're running silos, and they've got one department for DM, one for email, one for Google, and getting them all coordinated together to get budgets deployed on top of a direct mail campaign with the exact same message is like moving a mountain for them. So as a print provider, when you can leverage a streamlined turnkey marketing platform and present that to them as a solution that's going to drive results, it's very attractive to them. So a little bit of case study information here. So direct mail, very powerful channel, but when you layer on top digital marketing or omni-channel on top of it, you can really exponentially lift the response rate to that channel. So this was an education campaign. They did a test campaign first. It worked very well, and then from there they mailed 150,000 pieces for 18 schools. They got 453 enrollments, which was valued at about $6,500 per student, for annual revenue of around $3 million, just by leveraging and harnessing the power of omnichannel on top of their direct mail. This was a financial bank. They did an A/B test. They mailed 157,000 pieces with omnichannel, 153,000 without, and they got a 33.2% lift in response on the DM campaign with the omnichannel. I mean, this isn't rocket science, guys. It's like, what do you think is going to work better? You know, sending out a direct mail campaign alone, or sending out a direct mail campaign and hitting the prospect multiple times through multiple channels, giving them multiple opportunities to convert and respond, and through the channels that they care to convert through. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, this all sounds great, but my customer's already cost conscious, and now I'm gonna ask them to spend a little bit extra money. Well, you're right, but there's a return for that initial investment, and the return far outweighs the nominal additional investment that you're asking for. So if I'm a customer and you're asking me to spend an additional $5,000 to layer omnichannel on top of my direct mail campaign, but the value of one customer is 10 grand, and you're gonna get me 20 new customers, well, I would say that that additional $5,000 makes a lot of sense. So make it make sense in the dollars and cents for the customers. This also is going to show mail attribution, which what I was talking about a little bit before is our customers are more cost conscious. They want to know, is the direct mail working? And unfortunately, a lot of our clients have a really hard time knowing if it's working or not. They have a really hard time tracking it, and they depend on us to tell them or show them that it's working. And a lot of times we depend on them to equip us with the data so that we can run mail suppressions against the files. But they don't even know. It's like, well, hey, this didn't work. Well, how do you know? How are you tracking it? Well, I don't know. Well, how many leads did you get inside your organization? Did you see your website traffic spike when you sent your direct mail campaign? How many calls did you get? How good are your sales reps? What are the answers to these questions? We do our job. The direct mail drives people to the website, but do they convert them? Well, there's a lot of holes. But when we leverage technology that provides tracking and attribution and can show our customers that it's working, now we're really arming ourselves with data where we can continue to get those reorders and those investments. So this was a campaign that got 17 calls. If I was a marketer, I wouldn't be overwhelmed by that. However, we do have a pixel that goes on a website that can tell how many people from the direct mail campaign went to the website. Well, 932 people out of an almost 5,000 piece mailing list went to the website. That's an 18.75% response rate to the mail. That's astronomical. So now the customer's happy. Now we have leverage. Now we can show them that it's working and keep it a contender in the ring. We also, I know we have a couple of customers in the room here, but we have a new technology. As a technology company, we actually started many years ago, about 8 years ago, with 3 technologies. We've now thus grown to 15. One of our latest tools is our real-time tracking and attribution feature. We can show every direct mail recipient in the campaign that responded through which channels, how many times. So now you have an attribution report that you can actually export and provide your customers with, showing them who on the direct mail campaign is responding and through which channels are the most effective. So Direct Mail 2.0 delivers solutions for marketers. For a very small cost, a few pennies per mail piece, they get to leverage anywhere from 8 to 32 impressions per mail piece. So instead of just getting one really powerful, impactful impression with mail, they can get 8 to 32. Get about a 23 to 46% lift in response on their direct mail campaigns, get a real-time trackable results dashboard where they can see everything is working and export reports. They can streamline their marketing solutions into one turnkey platform. And also, some of these technologies qualify for postal discounts. So while they're lifting the response to mail, they can also shave off a little bit of that extra postage. Now, some product revenue potential. This was a large partner. They had 38 sales reps. Never get 100% buy-in. You guys know how it is. Not everybody wants to sell a new product. People just like to manage their accounts and they're comfortable. But we did have 17 cowboys that were ready to sell omni-channel marketing. This is 3/4 worth of revenue for Direct Mail 2.0 alone. $2.35 million. That's just for Direct Mail 2.0. Now keep in mind that this product is a very lucrative sales tool. So are you going to get ROI on your investment with Direct Mail 2.0 by selling omnichannel? Absolutely. But the real leverage is when you present something new and shiny to a direct mail customer and you ask them what their mail provider is doing for them, and if they're doing something like this, and if they're interested in getting a 23 to 46% lift in their mail. Now, when you go out and you acquire a new mail client, I don't know, maybe a couple $1 million in revenue a year just from the new direct mail business that you're acquiring by presenting a value-added service. And that is where the real leverage is. Now, this was a smaller partner. This was a storefront print provider. And in 2 years, they were able to layer omnichannel marketing on over 2 million pieces of mail, substantially growing their business just by leveraging the power of omnichannel. This is a review from one of our resellers. This is Kevin Lash at Spectrum Marketing. Very low cost of entry. You know, this sounds like it's a quite involved platform, and it is. But the barrier to entry is very low, very inexpensive to onboard with our license. But it really helped him improve his client results and provide the product differentiation that he was looking for. So this provides solutions for mail providers. you have the opportunity to go out and acquire a new mail business, increase your average job per revenue, sell a high margin product. You can mark this up anywhere from 100 to 250%, and get your clients the results that they're looking for. Get them a lift in results on their direct mail campaigns. One last thing I just want to talk about. In May of last year, we acquired a company called Who's Mailing What? And this is a very powerful platform to leverage if you are selling direct mail or if you would like to grow your mail business. We have a database of direct mail campaigns from all over the country. So let's say, for example, that your client is Progressive Insurance, and you want to see what Geico Insurance is mailing because you want to equip your client Progressive to make sure that on their next direct mail campaign, they're putting out the best offer. We don't want to have, Geico is sending out $150 off and you're sending out $50, right? Not to mention your creative teams can leverage and get creative inspiration from the direct mail campaigns in this platform. And if Progressive Insurance is your client and you're looking at acquiring the business of Geico, we also give you the contact information of the individuals who are mailing these direct mail campaigns so that you can reach out to them and you can tell them how and why they should be doing their direct mail with you. So this is a really great tool to really show you who is mailing what. Go out and acquire a new mail business. It also will show you who is utilizing the same mid. So let's say that you talk to Geico and they're like, listen, I'm really happy with my current provider, but I'll tell you what, their turn times are really, really slow. Well, I can bet you that every other individual that's utilizing that same med, their turn times are pretty slow too. Now you have an opportunity on your hands. So you can reach out to those individuals and say, hey, I don't know if you ever have a challenge with turn times, but I just want to let you know that we have some of the fastest turn times in the country. I'd really love an opportunity to earn your business, show you some of our value-added services, and potentially we can see if there's an opportunity here for us to work together. So really powerful platform and really great competitive intelligence there. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's time today. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? Sure, yeah. So like I said, pricing model, really low barrier to entry. There's your first investment with Direct Mail 2.0, you have to purchase a license to be able to leverage the platform that we've built out, years of development. A license can range you anywhere from $349 a month all the way up to $14.99 a month. So, or if you want, you get a little discount. Pay for it annually, so $3,500 a month is our lowest license, all the way up to $15,000. But those are like for our enterprise partners, so we deal with very, very large partners like R.R. Donnelley and things like that. And then from there, there's a price per mail piece. So if you want to layer on a technology stack, you look at the mailing list quantity, and then your price per piece would range anywhere from 8 additional cents per piece, all the way down to 3.5, depending on if you want to make an investment and purchase in bulk. Any other questions? All right, I appreciate your time today.